just 20, to take an additional 20% off. 40% of all Americans, 40% of all Americans plus run out of rent and mortgage protection in 2 weeks. Now, maybe they'll be lucky enough to go to family, friends. Boy, that'll increase the amount of conflicts in America, won't it? Yeah. Could keep the police busy. Oh, they're defunded. I forgot. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem going on. Half of America could be homeless. What's the Biden administration going to do if they take over? What would the Trump administration do? Do you understand these people will become an avenging army if this goes on very long? As Gerald Celente once said on an interview I did with him, when people lose everything, they lose it.
Shalom. Call Halo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors be to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to the man who I learned his truth from. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatham to the hopefully elect. Alright. So, as of in recent weeks, alright, the talk basically has been how 2020, alright, which if you follow the men of Great Millstone, alright, the Apostle Elder Tahar coined this year the year of prophecy, and which it's been nothing but prophecy. All right, and I'll say because pretty much 2020 has been a year like all hell has broken loose, but at the same time all hell hasn't even really broken loose yet. If you catch my drift, if you understand what I'm trying to say, and like I said, the past couple of weeks, I'll say maybe about the last month or so, the talk has been, people are talking about how 2021, all right, which it's only a few weeks away. People have been talking about how 2021 is going to be they're predicting it's going to be a hell of a year, basically, because again, pretty much, man, 2020, all right, this has been a year's pretty much to set the stage for the upcoming events that we're about to witness, all right, and all hell break loose, all right, and it's because it's just like more fuel to the fire, because one of those things that's out there, all right, one of those things that's going to cause more, one of those things that's adding more fuel to the fire is the fact that a lot of Americans are about to be homeless. All right, here it is. People are already frustrated and fatigued dealing with this whole pandemic. All right, people are tired of wearing these damn face coverings. Right, people are just tired. You can feel the tension. The tension's in the air. All right, this place is it's a boiling pot that's getting ready to spill over. All right, and all it takes is that one event. And again, like my man's here, Dave Hodges said, and a lot of these Americans lose their homes. All right, I mean, yeah, the possibility of being able to move in with a relative or whatever the case may be, but that can stir up trouble. And I speaking from experience when I say this. because that's not always the best option. Staying with particular family members and friends and things of that nature. Eventually, there's going to be there's going to develop some type of animosity. All right, there's going to develop some type of tension there. And like I said, I'm speaking from experience. All right, for whatever reason, that always ends up happening, and that always ends up being the case majority of the time. All right, friends and family becoming foes. So you got that, and again, like he also mentioned, dealing with how, let's say, you got someone try to break into your home or whatever, trying to call the police, but majority of the police, right, with this whole movement of defunding the police, all right, because eventually they're going to go out of business. So you can just see, again, more fuel to the fire, more fuel being added to the fire. All right, because again, like he also said, once you take everything from people, man, all right, you back that cat into a corner, man, and eventually it's gonna lash out, man. And like I said, man, this place it's a boiling pot ready to boil over. It's ready to spill over. And these people here in America, man, they're about to they're about to lose their wits, or they're about to lose their minds. All right, with talks of a looming famine. All right, there's the possibility of this whole sea crisis that's plaguing the world. All right, I'm currently watching the movie Songbird. All right, which that's because these elites, they pretty much tell you their plans. They show you their plans in their different movies and video games and things of that nature. All right. And, I'm currently in the process of watching this movie, Songbird. I definitely encourage you to check that movie out if you can. It's definitely, a lot of, predictive programming. All right. But with the mutation of this whole sea crisis that's going on around the world, all right, as well as other sicknesses and plagues, pestilences that are gonna plague this earth, all right, because Yahweh Shemel Shai, man, he has things that we can't even comprehend, and when he gives the green light, all right, these different things are gonna start consuming this earth. All right. But again, nevertheless, all right, with all these things in the works, and resources becoming more and more limited and unavailable. All right, again, because eventually when people get to a point where they don't have nothing, all right, they're just gonna start, going to. They're just gonna go elsewhere. They're gonna go where there is resources. All right. So and again, that can include someone breaking into your home. That can include you getting robbed. All right. So I'm gonna play this out.
And when you're evicted from your home, you have lost everything. Let's just do the math. 40% plus of Americans. Let's just keep the number down to 300 million. That's over 120 million Americans. That would be an impossible group to control. Do you know who's going to be breaking into your homes? Just to survive. I think you don't have to worry about Antifa causing problems in Seattle and Portland. You better worry about the neighbor next to you that is evicted by the sheriff. Oh my, are the sheriff's going to be busy? Oh no, they won't. They're defunded. I forgot.
So again, all right, because you could possibly be a victim of your home getting burglarized, all right. And on the same note, because it could be a possibility, local law enforcement, your local law enforcement agency could be defunded, all right, could be understaffed. They could, be elsewhere, taking care of another call, or whatever the case may be. You're going to be left out there to defend for yourself. But nevertheless, these are the times that we're coming into. All right, perilous times, as the scriptures say. All right, very extremely dangerous times that we're coming into. All right.
Unbelievable. We need to let people go back to work. Truly. The vaccine may take care of some of the problem. It's like the flu vaccine or any other vaccine. It doesn't totally eradicate anything. It limits the exposure. It puts the odds on your side in some of these vaccines. Not all of them, of course. Some of them are contraindicated for people. We're still going to have coronavirus a year from now. Do you understand that? And are we going to hide from it for the rest of our lives? I don't think 120 plus million people are going to let us hide from it much longer. It's a lot to think about, people. How are we going to deal with the crisis? Because what we're doing ain't working. That's it for the Common Sense.
And, these elites, they don't want it to work, all right, because this is a perfect cover-up for them to set up their enterprise, all right, their NWO, if you know what I'm saying. So again, they're not going to let this crisis go to waste. All right. But with that being said, all right, with these draconian measures that they're taking, because again, they're only going to continue to put the tight squeeze on the society more and more, all right, to the point where, again, a lot of people, man, they're going to lose, they're going to lose it all right. Like with this particular instance, people, over a third of Americans, losing their homes, all right, because it's again, it's looking like the year of 2021 is it's not going to start off with any type of relief, all right. What's going on now in 2020, man, it's just going to spill over to 2021, and it's only going to get worse, all right. Before I get into second Esdras, the 15th chapter, let me get this in Acts, because one of the things that the apostles and elders are constantly reiterating, all right, it's going into how this placement is only going to get worse before it gets worse, before it gets worse, before it gets better. And why is that? Bear with me as I look for this. Acts chapter 14 and verse 22, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. Why is that? Why, are the apostles and elders basically repeating themselves over and over and over, all right? Constantly telling us younger brothers to, pretty much gird yourselves and build yourself up in the faith. Prepare your minds, get your mind ready for these things to come. Why the apostles and elders continuing to exhort us and, remind us of these things, right? Reading on, it says, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So, because again, before we make it into the kingdom, man, again, when pursuant to Jeremiah 30 and 7, all right, being that this is also as well as Daniel's 12 and 1, all right, before we make it into the kingdom, all right, we got to go through this this stretch of Jacob's trouble, which is going to be a time period that has never been since the earth was created. All right. And again, what you've been seeing going on throughout this year and throughout this pandemic. All right. You know, um it's been a prelude. You know, it's been setting the stage for pretty much all hell to break loose. You know, everything is pretty much ultimately is setting the stage for the second return of Yahweh Shai. All right, which again, you know, once Yahweh Shai shows up, all right, the kingdom is going to be established on the earth. But before that takes place, these things have to happen. So again, you know, this is why, you know, there's a continual exhortation, you know, to the body. All right. This is why brothers are pushing videos daily. All right. And so much that it's hard to keep up with these things. It's hard to keep up with everything that's going on. It's impossible with so much, all this information that's coming out. All right. But again, you know, before we make it into the kingdom, all right, because if you're a true believer, all right, your mind should be focused and stayed on the kingdom. You should not be in the mindset of wanting to stay here, you know, establish yourself in this society. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, you know, working and providing and doing what you can to, you know, make ends meet in this captivity. But again, our minds shouldn't be focused on this place. Our minds should be on the kingdom. If you're a true believer. All right, and with that, all right, again, you know, but before that can come, all right, before we actually make it to the kingdom, all right, these things have to take place. All hell has to break loose in order for Yahweh Shai to, you know, to show up and deliver us. All right, but nevertheless, going to second Esdras, because again, you know, this is all the stage is being set for all these things to take place. All right, and again, you know, this is why. Again, if you watch the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, they're constantly, you know, going into how things are only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse from here. And like I said, you know, 2020 is looking like it's going to spill over into 2021, and hopefully it does. All right. You know, we're hoping and praying that, you know, the Lord doesn't, you know, things don't ease up. You know, you know, because again, I mean, you know, it's only going to intensify from here. Second Esdras, the 15th chapter. Second Esdras, the 15th chapter, in verse 18, it says, matter of fact, verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And why is that? Because eventually, you know, things are going to spiral out of control in so much that they're going to institute martial law. All right, the cities are going to be shut down. America is pretty much one big city. All right, and this whole place is going to be shut down. All right, nothing coming in, nothing coming out within the cities and you know, these different states and these different cities. All right, there's going to be nothing coming in, nothing coming out. All right, and again, you know, with that being said, all right, resources are going to become even more limited and Slakia. Resources are only going to become more unavailable to people. So again, you know, because eventually it's going to get to a point where, you know, the next man, your neighbor, man, he's going to, you know, scoping you out and what you got, you know, thinking and plotting. All right. Verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So again, you know, because it's going to get so bad out here, things are going to get so bad out here. All right. Again, you know, the talks of this looming famine. All right. You know, that's one of the plagues that Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to plague the earth with. And even more so here in America, is going to plague it with famine. All right. You know, and you know, people, man, they're when they're in the state of desperation. All right. You know, there's no telling, you know, how far these people are going to be willing to go when they get desperate. Once they get desperate. All right. Especially with starvation, man. That's you know, the scriptures talk about how that's a horrible way to die. Starving, that's a horrible way to go. All right, but nevertheless, this is what's coming back on a major scale. All right, but nevertheless, you know, because there's you know, there's gonna be so limited resources available to, you know, to these people, and this is why people are eventually, man, they're gonna say the hell with it and just, you know, when you read up, man, it talks about how people, man, they're pretty much going to take matters into their own hands, and you know, again, you know, you know, people are going to be buying up, people now they're buying up guns and things of that nature. All right, and again, you know, because they're going to use those, you know, these guns. You know, people are going to, the scriptures talk about how people are going to be linking up. You know, people are going to be traveling in groups, traveling from city to city, street to street, house to house, looking for goods. All right. You know, just like the stuff they show in these movies, man, like the Book of Eli. All right. People traveling in bands. Like that one movie, The Road. All right. You know, this is how bad things are going to get, which again, you know, like I said, the scriptures talk about the perilous times that we're coming into, very dangerous times. All right. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right. You know, this is what's coming. You know, and again, you know, these things, man, they're only going to intensify. Here it is, you know, with the, you know, Trump and, you know, dealing with these elections. All right. Pretty much trying to, Trump is trying to, take his, case to the, basically he's trying to, prove to the Supreme Court about how the, elections were, pretty much, I'm trying to think of how to word it, because, you know, now they're cracking down on people that talk about the elections. And, you know, I don't want to get a strike, but, basically just put it like this, because, you know, basically it's not going in Trump's favor. It's not going in his odds. All right. Or excuse me, the odds are stacked against him. It's not going in the way that he wants. All right. And, you know, because you still got tensions dealing with, you know, Trump supporters and Biden supporters. All right. You got clashes with the Antifa, if I'm not mistaken, and Black Lives Matter. All right. You had a brawl, you know, brawls are breaking out. Things are spiraling out of control. And again, you know, because it's only going to intensify from here. You know, and eventually it's going to get to a point, man, this is going to become a dog eat dog world out here, basically, to sum it all up. All right. And this is why, again, you know, neighbors are going to turn on one another. You know, the scriptures talk about how father's going to, you know, they're going to turn on son, mother going to turn against daughter. All right. You know, there's another part of the Bible that talks about how the love of many waxing cold. All right. People don't, you know, during that time, you know, they're only going to be worried about themselves and you know, what they got to do to survive. All right. And again, you know, that might include, you know, people running up in your home. All right. Taking what you got, taking your life, you know, without any remorse, without any mercy. All right. You know, these are the times that we're coming into, you know, and again, you know, it's only going to intensify from here on out. You know, it's not going to get any better. Lord's will, you know. So just staying on the watch of these things, concerning these things, you know, concerning prophecy, you know, just continuing to, you know, be on the lookout, you know. Ended off there, giving all credit to Yahweh Shem El Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Lord's will, say shalom.